everyone. I'm Audrey.
And I'm Gus.
And we have the privilege of being sent to Taiwan as missionaries by you all. Since Gus and I have different ministries, so why don't we first hear from Gus?
Sure. Okay, I'm going to be focused on this year part-time on language learning again. I love it, but it is like climbing Mount Everest. My main ministry will be to serve in a local church, and I'm at the end of the process of discerning which church that might be. One of the churches has a ministry that I'm particularly excited about, and that's one where they reach out to families where a member in that family has an addiction or is in recovery. So I'm really excited about that one, and we may end up there.
I'm part of a ministry called Pearl Family Garden, which reaches out to women in red light districts with the vision of seeing them becoming disciples of Jesus. And my main job is to lead the Taichung branch of Pearl Family Garden, which is the newest branch, and Taichung is the city that Gus and I live in. Mobilizing local Christians to reach marginalized women is a big part of my work. One of the local pastors we got to know when he heard about Pearl Family Garden said, "Wow, pastors and churches just don't want to touch this demographic." There's a lot of fear of not being able to fix all the problems or not having enough time, resources, or training. So marginalized folk are still among the most unreached, and they're right on the church's doorstep. What if marginalized people are the biggest asset that the church doesn't want? When I think back on all the years that I've been serving with the Pearl and tracking with them, I think of the joy and of the fertile soil for just all the ways that I myself have grown and seen others growing spiritually, seeing church members and young people maturing and growing because of this fertile soil that is created by having marginalized people in your midst. And I think that kind of growth is actually what God is looking for. That's the growth that God wants to give us. Much more, I think, than just growth in numbers, people just rocking up at your church. One thing I'm really excited about is that we just started partnering with a small local church that's right next to the red light area. They're letting us use their space as a home base for prayer and preparation for our street visits. It's a wonderful Aboriginal pastor and his wife, and they are also willing to welcome the women into their church if they ever get to a point of being willing to walk into a church. So I'm excited to see how God may bless this church through this partnership. Recently, I've been thinking a lot about my early days at the Pearl, back when I was still at the original center in Taipei. And it is hard to describe just how impossible it seemed to me and to most of us at the time that it would become what it is now, this vibrant community of disciples, women who have come to the Lord through this ministry and are like walking with Jesus. And now the Pearl in Taipei is also reaching out to men, and it's become a church. I'm not saying it's easy. It's tough and often really lonely, but my teammates have said that when they see the way that I have to struggle with language and culture, and I'm not super impressive, and when they see that I'm still doing this in order to love people that no one else wants to touch, or the fact that Gus left a really good job in a bank at Australia, did the opposite of like the Taiwanese dream of going to a country like Australia, to make it like he did the opposite thing in order to be here with Taiwanese people and come alongside. I mean, they're really touched by God's love, and they feel like, well, maybe I don't have to have super expertise or training in order to walk alongside and share the gospel with people on the margins. So thanks for being part of God's work. May He richly bless what you have sown.